The rule is when you are going to have a hard cap, there's a dancing partner to a hard cap, and that's a hard floor. Owners are reluctant to have a floor, but they would do it for a cap. But the union didn't pay attention many, many years ago, and they allowed something called the competitive balance tax. And if we've learned something here on Nothing Personal, we've learned the competitive balance tax, more times than not, serves as a cap. The Dodgers are willing to go over it now because the Dodgers already know they'll be under it next year. Andrew Friedman, formerly of Tampa, very successful, now with LA, has built his team in a way that the only long-term commitments after this year, and this is off the top of my head, having looked at their roster, Mookie Betts, Justin Turner, who they just signed to 2 years, so maybe it's after 2 years. Maybe it's after 22, when Kershaw's off the books, Kenley Jansen's off the books. Everyone but Betts. Bueller doesn't count. He's just signed to a 2-year extension. They will go, and Bauer is 2 years. So I think I'm right. After 22, their payroll falls well below the cap, the tax, Freudian slip. What teams do is they prepare to pay the tax. They don't mistakenly go over the threshold. It's part of their budget. Just the same way teams prepare to cut when they need to and when they're looking at their development and what their likelihood of success is on the field. If the union wants to try for a salary floor in these next collective bargaining agreements, they should try. I think that a lockout will result, or a strike, but I think the owners will lock them out first. We're going to have a lot more time to talk about the labor issues. But the reason why you won't get a cap and a floor is that you will not get the votes from the owners. Because any floor that the union will demand will make it so teams will have to fight against their analytics, fight against their lack of delusion, and sign people like Edwin Jackson. Remember the Edwin Jackson sign, Coco, when the Cubs were rebuilding and their owner was so upset about all losing, they signed Edwin Jackson to $55 million and artificially raised the payroll for no reason when the team wasn't ready to win? Do you remember that signing? That signing was a huge deal in the arc of labor relations because it showed players that owners are not going to be disciplined. But then they got disciplined. They got smarter. They started listening to their baseball people more. Articles coming out left and right. Free agents are not getting the number of years and the number of dollars that they got just last year. What's happening? So many unsigned free agents. Hello? This has been going on for years. This is not COVID related, folks. This is baseball front offices saying, we are not going to be emotional. We're going to be robotic. We are not going to sign players for more than they're worth when we've got replacements for those players who will, wait for it, outperform their contract. That is what's happening in baseball. If you don't like it as a fan, I don't want to be mean to fans because I'm not. Fans make the world go round. I want to be a fan again one day if I can. I'd love to be a fan. One of my New Year's, I was going to say All-Star. One of my New Year's resolutions was to go to a Major League game this year. Finally. Haven't been to one since my last game in 2017, October 2017. I want to be a fan. It's not that I'm too smart to be a fan, and it's not that some fans are too dumb to be fans. We're all the same. We are emotional when we're fans. We want our team to win always. It's not realistic. Love the front of the jersey, not the back. Hope for the miracle. Hope to be the one team that somehow, some way outperforms. Yeah, it's not going to happen. What happens when owners get emotional? Nothing good. We saw it this weekend, and boy, did we ever see it. Justin Turner Justin Turner, the guy who was pulled off the celebration when he was pulled out of the field, Game 6 World Series, tested positive for COVID-19. They pull him off the field. No one knows what's going on. And then all of a sudden he appears in the celebration with COVID. And I thought, wait to see, he'll get fined. Wasn't fined, in an agreement with the union, becomes a free agent. He's the heart and soul of the Los Angeles Dodgers, the longest tenured position player. The non-tender by the Metropolitans. Was he a non-tender, Coco, or a trade? I think he was like a David Ortiz, a non-tender. I think Justin Turner has been non-tendered. Anyway, Clayton Kershaw and Kenley Jansen have been around longer. Justin Turner, the third longest tenured Dodger, part of this amazing 8-year streak of 1 World Series and 8 division titles in a row. Free agent. He was coming off a deal, by the way. He got $64 million for 4 years from the Dodgers. Do you remember that? 64 for 4. Well, 4 years have passed. He's 36 years old. In today's baseball, 36-year-old players, by definition, are not, what's the right way to say this, Coco? They've lost their ability to perform like they're a 70-year-old man. There are exceptions. Sometimes you can use medicine. But the general rule is, without help, it's not going to go well. But the Dodgers were in a position where they had to bring Justin Turner back. Don't think I was smart by tweeting out that Turner was going to be a Dodger. Everyone knew Turner was going to be a Dodger. The Brewers offered him apparently the same terms, maybe even a shtook more than the Dodgers did. Of course he was going back to the Dodgers. That's his legacy. I love Milwaukee. I tweeted that. I do. It's got a warm place in my heart. I was born there, family there, went to camp there, everything. I'm just went to college in Wisconsin. If you're Justin Turner at 36 years old and you are offered a raise from your $16 million annual value that you got for 4 years and you're 36 and you had, you're an okay third baseman, an okay performer, a superb clubhouse presence, but okay on the field, and you get a guaranteed $17 million for 2 more years, and you get to stay in LA. I was critical of the Lakers back in the day. I don't remember whether it was on nothing personal. I don't think it could have been. I think it was well before it. And I've talked about the pillow contract that the Lakers gave to Kobe when he wasn't able to perform at that level, and it hurt the Lakers. Teams have a hard time. It's a very interesting topic because there is no right answer. What do you do with an aging superstar? And make no mistake, Justin Turner is an aging star. In LA, he's an aging superstar. In baseball, he's just an aging, really good player. The worst thing that can happen to a team is also the best thing. The best thing that can happen to a team is the best thing for a player. The best thing that can happen to the team is a worst case scenario for next year's team. The pressure to win after you've won a World Series is significant, and the desire to let real emotionally attached players and performers leave is so strong that you don't do it. The Dodgers let Kiki Hernandez go, and you could say that he's some sort of emotional center. He's a bench player. Let's not get crazy. Kiki Hernandez and Justin Turner don't belong in the same stratosphere, the same discussion at all. So when you win, you chase it and you chase it, and the Dodgers have doubled down in trying to do something that hasn't happened since the Yankees in 98 to 2000. They bring in Bauer on a luxury tax-friendly deal that helps Bauer and the Dodgers by giving him the most money anyone ever made, but spreading it out over a 3-year deal. They bring Turner back at 17. They go way over the threshold, but they do it all knowing it's temporary. So for those other teams in the NL West, here's what you're doing. You're the Rockies. You're the Diamondbacks. You're saying, okay, it's not our time, but it's coming again soon. We will have another window and we're going to be ready. That's why Arenado was traded. You think the Padres can catch the Dodgers, Coca? There's no chance.